lot of people, I would think, had Gal in a rush. Third off the layoff for Christophe Clement. Jose Ortiz, he might be making it tight as we come down to the last week and a half of racing at Belmont to part between him and his brother Arad Ortiz, who I believe still has to serve one more day of suspension. But we get it down to Richard Migliori, who's standing by with one of the most jovial people in racing, Tom Bellhouse.
Yeah, thank you, Maggie. Executive Vice President for West Point Thoroughbreds. Tom, you've been with West Point a long time. We'll get to that. Let's talk about Gal in a Rush. You're up there watching from the box seats. She looked like she was a winner every step.
Yeah, it doesn't happen that often, Richie, but it really was a race where on paper it looked like there wasn't a ton of speed. And when one of the horses we thought would be on the lead didn't break well, Jose just perfect trip, sat off Diamond Hands, and when he asked her, she responded. She's a really nice horse. Had some tough luck. I know people love to hate on her sometimes, but she really is a horse that tries. And Christophe uses the Ragozin sheets as a guide, and she paired up 11s on both of those second places. And not many places in the country can you pair up 11s and not break through that non-winners of one condition. So we're super excited for the partners and get this filly across the finish line first for the first time in her career, and put some of that other stuff to bed. And hopefully, she's been real good to us. Hopefully, give us a thrill up in Saratoga in a few weeks.
Well, we know Saratoga is West Point's favorite time of the year. Absolutely. You've got 4 more horses in here today, 1 at Delaware. Tom, you started out as a partner with West Point 20 some odd years ago, and for 15 years now have been the executive vice president, or worked your way up to executive vice president. Tell us about that journey. How did it all begin?
Well, it started right here at Belmont Park. I was a fan, and we've talked over the years when you grew up in the late 70s as a teenager, and in the time of Aladar affirmed in Seattle Slew and Forgo, it was just a magical time for racing, and I just always had a passion for it, and did a lot of other things in my career and in my life, but never lost that passion. Always came back to the Belmont every year, and my grandparents lived right in Franklin Square, so this has always been my home track, even though I live in Saratoga now. But that passion never waned, and Terry took a shot on me, and I took a big shot on West Point about 15 years ago. I left a division of Chrysler that I had worked at, and figured I'd have a chance to try to do something I wake up every morning and just love doing, and never look back.
Tom, congratulations. And, the game is better for having people like Tom Bellhouse and that passion shining through. Certainly someone you should need to look up in Saratoga.
Could not agree more, Meg. Love seeing Tom, whether it's at the track, in the paddock, especially in the winner's circle. Paul.
Yeah, and he was mentioning there Terry Finley, and Terry literally one of the best human beings you can meet on the racetrack. And West Point Thoroughbreds, listen, there's been a lot of conglomerates out there that buy horses. West Point Thoroughbreds is solid as can be. They got solid people, and they're just great people. Terry, Bill, and you can go on and on.
They just have the longevity.
Yeah, they do.
They really do. And, of course, they'll be represented in 2 races from now, as they'll send out QF75 as well as Dripping Gold in that allowance on the turf. Coming up next, though, is race number 3, a